Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 3 of 7 podcast. Today's episode is a special episode with the team members that came out and participated in the basic course in June, just a few weekends ago. This was the inaugural basic course. We had a plan, but we didn't quite understand how powerful it was actually going to be. It was so powerful that I had to open the podcast up to the individuals, the team members that accomplished that mission. These are leaders within their own lives, within their lanes, very, very special people that me, Nathan, and Blake were fortunate enough to share life with, and to learn with, and to grow with. So this episode's going to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect from the basic course. Although every class, every team will be different. Every mission will be different because that's nature, right? We don't know what nature's going to throw at us, and we have to deal with it when we're out there during the basic course. If you haven't heard of the basic course, it's probably because I don't really advertise for it. There's no advertising campaign for the basic course. It's very small. It's very private. It's almost sacred to me. And the goal of the basic course, if I could sum it up, which is nearly impossible, but if I could sum it up in one sentence, my goal for the basic course is to empower every single individual that invests in themselves, that comes out, that toes the line to participate in this mission, to empower each and every one of them and to give each and every one of them everything that I have. Every single tool that I have used through my time in the SEAL teams, through ultra running, through life, through entrepreneurship, through everything that I have done. My goal is to give each and every one of the team members at the basic course all of that, every tool that I can think of, to empower them to in turn go out and become the teacher within their own communities, within their own families, within their own businesses, whatever it may be. The beautiful thing about the basic course is as we go out as a team on this mission and we learn these tools, nature gives us the opportunity to implement the tools that we learn immediately. See, this isn't a master class that's being held in a hotel room lobby or a hotel lobby. This is on a whole nother level, okay? This is where we go out and we learn and we implement immediately. We see the changes that we can make within our own body, soul, and spirit in order to become a more complete and wholesome human being. We implement them immediately, and then we take those out into our everyday lives, and we use them, and we crush anything that is set before us because we are now empowered. That's my goal for the basic course. If a basic course ever ends and I feel like I have something left to give, then I have failed. When we crossed the finish line of this mission, my words were, I have nothing left to give you. Go and become the teacher. It was a successful mission. It was an amazing team. It was an unbelievable experience. If you guys are interested in the basic course, if this sounds like something that would be good for you as an individual, that would be good for your work team, your corporate team, whatever it may be, whatever the group is, reach out to me. We've decided to host 3 more courses in 2020. Only 3. All right. Again, this is small. It's limited to 8 people per team. We can only take 8 people out. Why is that? It's because I want to get to spend one-on-one, face-to-face time with every single individual in that team, okay? If I brought 10 or 15 people out there, it wouldn't be the same. That's the reason we keep it at 8. This is actually a terrible business model. I can't scale this. It has to stay small to maintain the value and the quality that it has to offer. All right, so we've decided to do 3 more courses for 2020. August the 14th through the 16th, September the 11th through the 13th, and October the 2nd through the 4th. That's it. So, yeah, 8 people per group. Again, if you're interested, hit me up. Send me an email with your 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. Who you are, what you do, when you want to come out and participate in the basic course, which one of those dates, where you're coming from, and why you think this course would benefit you. Why do you want to come out and do this? All right. So that's enough for me. I'm going to let you hear from the team that came out and participated in June now. I think you guys will enjoy it. Again, these are all leaders. They have some awesome wisdom to share, not only about their experiences during the basic course, but about their lives and about how they have taken the tools that they learned during the basic course and have now applied them in their everyday life in order to become a more complete and wholesome human being. Again, reach out to me. It's just 3of7basiccourse@gmail.com. That's the number 3 of the number 7 basiccourse@gmail.com. It's not spelled out. Again, the number 3 of the number 7 basiccourse@gmail.com. 5 W's. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks a lot. Without further ado, here is the June team from the basic course. I'm going to start off with my brother, Justin. So Justin is a fireman, and I just like I said, this is their show. So Justin, what is up, brother? What's on your heart today, man?
Man, I'm just grateful to be here. Super grateful for the opportunity to go, and not sure what I'm going to say.
Well, give us, I guess you give us a rundown, if you could, of maybe highs, lows, maybe lessons learned, maybe what was impactful to you about the mission that we all went on together, man.
All right. Well, first off, like anything, I believe it starts off with the leaders. And I believe you and Nathan and Blake, phenomenal guys. And you just complement each other so well to me. Nathan is a professional of the wilderness. You could tell he's just living out his destiny out there. So just practical with what he's doing. And then you got you're the tactical side of it, brings a whole new element to being out there in those woods and a whole different set of skills, super cool stories. And then you got Blake just marrying you guys together with wisdom well beyond his years and just such a humble guy. And I just was just in awe of you guys. I still can't believe it was the first one. It seems like you've done it 100 times. I mean, how well it went and how the logistics were just perfect. And, it was incredible. Starting out on that trip, the first few little miles, we encountered a rattlesnake in the trail. We had a member fall and bust a knee up. So I'm thinking from the get-go, like, man, this is real. This ain't no little hike down the yellow brick road. I mean, this is the real deal. And what, to me is super exciting because I didn't want a boring little hike. I wanted, a little bit of danger and a little bit of excitement. And we got it for sure. I believe. And highs and lows. I mean, to me, anytime I can be outside in the wild, anytime I can be soaking wet, my own sweat, I'm living my best life. And we got to do that. It was kind of weird to me, like being out there. I've never done nothing like this. I've been on family hikes. I've been on little day hikes with my wife and my 2 daughters. But when you're out there like that, when, you show up, and I had a truck full of stuff that I brought up there. I condensed it to a bag. Didn't think I had near enough. I picked this bag up. I immediately thought, now I've got too much. This thing is heavy. And I knew I'm going in for 3 days, and what I'm bringing is what I got. And just the simplicity of that was just really, I can't explain it. It was just really special to me. Like hiking through there when your only concern, like the only thing on my mind the whole time was really like water. Like where are we going to get water? We got to camp near water. I want to have water with me. Like, your whole life is shrunk down to water, and then of course, Jose's awesome little story on water that he gave by the campfire, just how important that was. But it was awesome to me. I'm amazed that in 3 days, I never heard one negative word or comment or phrase from anybody. And that was nothing that you guys told us going in, like, hey, don't say, I mean, it was just like it just happened naturally. Like everyone was super just positive. We were encouraging to one another. We worked well. No one talked about all the crap that's going on in the world, and none of that was even brought up. And that was very refreshing to me. I even, when I got out of the woods and got in my truck and was driving home, I was going home. So I called my wife and I told her, I'm coming home. It was a great time. And she said, hey, you got a 5-hour drive. Your mission ain't over. She said, take this time, reflect. Don't turn the radio on. Don't do whatever. She said, just use this time between, you and God, just cement this thing in, let it sink in, take it all in. And I did that. It was just so cool how it just all played out. My life verse, I don't do it very well, but it's Acts 20:24. And so it's Paul. He's talking to the elders, and he's telling them he's going to Jerusalem, and he knows it's going to be bad. And he says, I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up. He says, I consider my life worth nothing to me. My only aim is to finish the race, to complete the task the Lord has given me. The task of testifying to the good news of God's grace. And, we finished, and I kind of was telling myself that on that thing, on the mission, and just it just made it more real to me and more applicable. And it was a life-changing trip for me, spiritually, physically, just all around.
Well, I agree with you on that, Justin, and I think you really hit a lot of good points, man. And one of the things that you hit right there that was interesting to me was when you talked about when the mission was complete and you got back in the truck and you had that drive home, and still utilizing that time to reflect upon the mission, because that was one of the things that I was wondering about with each and every one of you guys, because I went through a little spell of depression after our mission was over, and I got back home and I was like, oh my gosh, I just spent this weekend like with these amazing human beings doing this amazing stuff in this amazing place. And real life sometimes will start to lose its color, and you have to refocus and learn to, I think, see the magnificence of the things all around you, even in normal life. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to hear that you spent that drive reflecting, man. Thank you so much for the wisdom that you just put out and for sharing your experience with us, brother. We're going to turn it over now to Miss Renee.
I'm not nervous at all.
I love it. I know you're not.
I'm equally grateful for this experience. I think that Justin summed up the triad of Nathan, Chad, and Blake so nicely. wonderful leaders, and the team as well, like such a positive vibe. Really smart, accomplished people, and there were no egos. There was no negativity. There wasn't like, oh, that guy. You didn't get that feeling at all. It was just it was like family from the get-go. So I would just add about our leaders that they're resolute in their mission to share their gifts. And I'm, like I said, I'm eternally grateful for that. And they're really body, soul, and spirit growth mindset gurus. So we were all very fortunate to be out there with them. So I learned so much in one weekend. Metaphorically speaking, they taught me, that progress and growth is within walking distance. And this experience practically removed fear and anxiety from my life. I guess I'm going to explain it the best way that I can. So I had already learned from Chad to have mantras, and I was prepared with a mantra, because I don't know if you guys know, but you don't know, when we got there, I almost didn't go in. Like I had a little fear. And so my mantra was, trust your soul tribe, this is your journey. Trust your soul tribe, this is your journey. And then I don't think we were 15 minutes into the hike, and I fell and kind of, like Justin said, I busted my knee open, and it didn't bother me at all. I just, everyone made sure I was okay. And I said, okay, I'm going to get up. And my mantra changed to, you will not fall. Trust your soul tribe. This is your journey. And then we're hiking in, and everything was great. I didn't feel any fear or anxiety. It was just bizarre to me. Mm-hmm. And then we come across this rattlesnake, and that rattlesnake was the most beautiful thing that could have ever happened. It was, you would have thought it would be scary. And I was excited. I was so excited to see the rattlesnake. And the way that Chad and Nathan and Blake handled it, they just kind of assessed the situation. They made sure we were all safe, and we went around the rattlesnake. And from that point, my mantra changed to adjust, don't get rattled. Adjust, don't get rattled. And I can't explain it, but I wasn't nervous about any of it. So then there's the power of the spoken word that Chad talks about. And so as we're hiking, like Justin said, there was no negativity. I think no one wanted to, what and the what's. No one's going to die in the chair. If you're going to get tired, we're not going to die in the chair. We're going to get through this. And so our leaders, or I could hear Chad or Blake, they could maybe see in my stride or my limp or the look on my face. And they would say, you're strong, Renee. You don't get tired. And there was power in that. And it gave me the energy or the strength I needed to get through the hike. It was just, I can't really explain that part of it, but I also use it in at home. I bike, and I've increased my biking speed tremendously. And so my mantra there, the power of the spoken word there is, I just say, I will speak out loud. I'll say, your legs don't get tired. Your legs don't get tired. And I beat my time today. So it's great. But another aside, salty britches really works. I use that. So Chad was nice enough to let me borrow some when I felt some hot spots on my feet, and I didn't have any blisters at the end of at the hike. So it was great. But so we reached the summit, and like I said before, maybe I didn't say, but before this experience, I had a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, bugs, spiders, everything. And we're on this hike, and there's things buzzing around me, and mm-hmm. bugs everywhere. And it just didn't bother me. I had this presence. I I didn't have the fear, and I just felt this joy. But like Chad mentioned, I was wondering, like, how am I going to take that back? How am I going to go back to normal life and still, bring what I've learned on this trip? And so Nathan he read a quote, and I'm going to read it. It said, you cannot stay on the summit forever. You have to come down. So why bother in the first place? There's an art to finding one's direction in the lower regions by the memory of what one saw higher up. And so I don't know if you guys remember, I had a burst moment. It just filled me with emotion, and I had joyful tears, but I could barely speak. Like I had so much joy. But what I realized is I can't take the mountain back, but I can take the lessons back with me. So I'll leave the rattlesnake, but I'll take the lesson from the rattlesnake, and I'll leave the anxiety, and I'll take back the joy. And that's what I did. I left the anxiety, and I took the bliss back. So really, since I've been back, it hasn't left me. I've had this subtle bliss that my family and my friends have noticed. And so they want to know more, and I'll tell them about the trip, and I tell them about these lessons. And I feel like I'm a better mother to Andy and Parker, my daughters. And that's everything. I want to be the best me for them. I told my sister about the experience. She told a friend at work, and Chad, you would love this. She was telling me the other day that her friend was on a run and a walk and heard your voice in her head because she went and listened to your podcast and went to your website. And she said, I heard his head. I heard what he says in my head, and I kept going. And she did it faster and, longer than she had ever done. So I'm happy to share what I learned with other people too. And at this point in time in my life, I'm really not afraid of anything. I have a higher ground ladies trip booked in the next couple weeks. So me and a couple friends are going. We're going to go back. I think we're going somewhere in Tennessee or North Carolina, but we're going to go. I'm going to go hiking again. So the last thing I'd like to share is Chad. One of his lessons while we were there was he said that he has a mission statement and a creed. And I thought about those things at work, but I never thought of really applying it to my life. So I sat down and I wrote, my mission statement is really simple. Now it's continuous growth, learning, and joy. And the simplicity of that and living my life around that has made it simple to keep the joy in my life, I think. I also have the adjust, don't get rattled. That's got to be part of my mission statement. And my creed is Christianity, and it's really the inner engineering with aligning, like using the 3 of 7, body, soul, and spirit, yoga for body, mind, and emotion and energy, and nutrition and exercise. So that's keeps me conscious and always trying to be better.
That was so powerful. That was powerful, Renee. And you had so many points on your portion of the talk. And the one that really stands out to me is how you went out and you have chose to now share your experiences with others. So that's the way this has to work. See, I can't do anything without you guys, and vice versa, right? If you have something and you pass it along to me, I am then obligated to go and pass that along to someone else. And that is how true, substantial change happens, right? You should never be interested in trying to get as many people under your umbrella as you possibly can. It's about giving what you have to someone else and then allowing them and empowering them to go out and share it with people in their lives, because that is what the mission is all about. And Renee, you experienced like so much growth on our mission. It was unbelievable to see you go from that place where we were packing our bags for the first time to seeing you, into the second day, setting up camp, pulling down camp, just rocking and rolling. I mean, just clicking, just using the tools in real time. I remember you walked up to me one time and you were like, I didn't think I was gonna have to use the bathroom in the woods. And I just laughed about it because, you don't think about this stuff. And, you're just out on this mission, and then all of a sudden you have to use the bathroom, and there's no bathrooms around. And your growth was just unbelievable to witness. You got a place in my heart from now on. Thank you so much for sharing your part of not only the mission on the basic course, but your part of life moving into the future and pushing forward into your future missions.
I can't thank you guys enough. I love you guys to death.
Thank you too, Renee. All right, Brother Dave. We got Dave Daniel, the NASCAR driver, coming up next. He's not really a NASCAR driver. That's just how I remember Dave's name. Sorry, brother. I had to throw it in there, man.
Hey, I'm from Charlotte, so it fits. I don't have a problem with it at all.
Heck yeah, brother.
I want to share a few things that I learned better or kind of hit home. Just playing off what Renee said, speaking about the power of the spoken word. That's something I've known about to a degree. And you know how when you learn something this much and you never know anything past it exists for a long time, and then you have an experience, that controlled adversity, and you suddenly have to utilize it more than you ever have before and realize like there's this whole untapped element. And the way you guys led it, to Renee's point, we were going up the mountain the second day and it was a lot. Like I had never done anything like that before in my life. And like I'm sandwiched between some ultra marathoners and I'm like, how did I end up here? Right. And with these big old packs on our backs and my shoes that I had gotten 3 days before and hadn't broken in at all. I'm now missing a toenail on one of my feet from that. But it was wild going up the mountain and feeling the tiredness and feeling the exhaustion set in, and knowing that, hey, with a different group of people, by myself, whatever, this is the point where I'd be like, hey, I need a break. It's time to sit down. I deserved it. I had exerted a lot of energy and it wasn't my typical to do so. And we didn't stop. We kept pushing, we kept pushing. And you'd hear like washing down from in front of you, easy day. It's within walking distance. And all these things guys were saying, and everything just stayed super light, super positive. And you hear Chad coming up behind you. It's crazy. I never get tired. And I'm like, well, I don't get tired either, I guess. And as you say these things, your mind just agrees with you. And it's like, okay, you're not tired. We're still going. There's still something to complete. So you just keep pushing forward. And the physical energy, the physical ability I experienced based off the words that I was speaking, which blew my mind. It's something I'd never experienced before to that degree. I'd experienced it on this tiny little level prior. I mean, it has a lot to do with where I am now in life, but that was just a game changer of physically altering your ability by speaking the correct words. But you take that and you roll it in and compound it with the energy of the association, the group of people we were with. We were with 11 of the most exceptional people I've met in my life. All high performers, all high thinkers, people that know how to focus in on something and do it. And I mean, it's this narrow trail, so you're single file line the whole way, but it doesn't matter where we fell in line. The person in front of me, the person behind me, always had my back. always supported me without question, without blinking. It was like, hey, I need this, I need that. And it was just like, boom, done. Not a question, nothing. And that unwavering support for the tactical, logistical side, but also in the words they were sharing, the positivity that they had, it just built this amazing energy that just empowered you to just keep going and keep going and keep going. There towards, I guess it was like the last leg of our second day. Like, this is when we had been going up the mountain for a while and back down and back up and then back down and then back up, back down again, back up. It was a trek. And I was starting to give out at that point. I mean, I'm decently in shape, but that's a new thing for me relatively. And my leg had been cramping up and I pushed through it. And we took a break. We were doing the nav course. I took my pack off and I sat down. And my traps just locked up. And I couldn't lay, sit, stand, or anything to relieve it. I couldn't get it stretched out. And we got through that class. I mean, we were there for about 45 minutes. And we got up to get going. And I literally was thinking through how I'm going to let these guys know, hey, just go on ahead. You know, I'll sit here, you know, back and forth the whole time. I didn't learn a lot about navigating, if I'm being honest. So we get done. I grab Nathan. I'm like, just out of an abundance of, you know, caution, like, here's some things I'm experiencing. And I kept it very carefully worded. And my goal was like, hey, I just don't want to have some large thing happening that I don't share. And Nathan asked a few questions, just check. He's like, you're good to go. He gave me he shared some of his water because I was about out. And then I'm like, I'm good to go then. So threw the bag on. That was the hardest part, is throwing the bag back on. And then once we started moving, it was an easy day again. And that last leg was some of the more fun territory that day. But yeah, that association, being with that group of people, I never would have made that much of a trip with any other group of people, or at least not the people that I would have gone with prior. So yeah, the last big thing I learned is your mind is your own limitation, and often your only limitation. And very often it's limiting you way more than you realize. So to Renee's point, we broke through a barrier on that mountain that we left the mountain, but we permanently broken through that barrier. And we can always look back on that and take that with us. And I would add to the end is the amount of focus I learned on this trip from Chad, from Nathan, from Blake, from the rest of the guys. Just figuring out your mission, executing the mission. It's all that matters. Execute the mission. And it kind of stuck with me most vividly that last day as we were coming back down off the mountain. We had gotten to the peak. We looked out at this just gorgeous landscape, like mind-boggling view. And we'd taken our time there, and then we were walking back down to our base camp, our starting point. And we were just focused on the mission, focused on the next few steps, focused on getting done. And we were so lost on executing the mission that it was done. We got to the bottom and we're like, wait, what? We're here? And it was kind of anticlimactic at first. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we're at the end. It's like, we did what we were here to do. We executed the mission. We got down. And as we started unpacking, it kind of set in that, hey, this is done. And it was climactic in the wrong way. It's kind of a little bit of tinge of sadness, but it was an amazing learning opportunity. That doesn't even do it justice, but life-changing to say the least.
Man, Dave, that was powerful testimony, brother. And, you know, you recalling that final stage of the mission, You put it perfect, man. I mean, there's no way I could have ever described it as well as you described it, but it was exactly the way I felt too, is we were so focused, we were so present, so focused on the mission, so focused on our team member in front of and behind us, and we were just so present that all of a sudden it's like we step out into this parking lot and it's like you said, it was mission complete. That was just, it was really weird for me too, man, because the crazy thing is, Dave, I didn't know where the end was either. That was my first time, ever going that route before, and Nathan's too. So we weren't anticipating it. We were just as present as you guys were. So we got to experience the same thing that was probably going through you guys' head too. And it was a really strange thing. And, but I mean, the way you described it, that's a lesson in and of itself, is being able to be that present, that focused on executing the mission, that you're not focused on the finish line. You're focused on doing what you need to do to take the next step. And that's a powerful mindset to have, man. Dave, I can't thank you enough for sharing that with us, man. You got you got a way with words, brother. I can't wait till your book comes out. I don't know. I can edit that out of here if you want me to. But I'm glad you're working on it, man, because it's going to be an amazing piece, brother.
I'm excited. I appreciate you guys putting this together.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. And we're going to turn it over to Miss Kayla. And I don't know how much I can tell you about what Kayla does for a living, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. How you doing, Kayla?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, just thinking about there's so many thoughts that kind of run over each other to try to come out of my mouth at this point right now. Everybody's said something that triggered something I experienced or thought while on this basic course mission or journey. The first thing that comes to mind is just really grateful to be chosen to go, and glad you guys put this together, and grateful for everybody who showed up, because I learned something from everyone, and multiple somethings. Like everybody's been saying, everybody kind of had each other's back, but also like it was incredible to be in an environment of everyone else also wants to be the best version of themselves that they could be. And so we're swapping tips on nutrition, training plans. Like, I heard people giving or talking about marriage or parenting or just pieces of life and sharing wisdom and things that they learned. So it was incredible to be in that environment. And I think it was primed by you, Chad and Blake and Nathan, like how you like just operate your lives together already. And then the positive environment that you created there. And for me, there were a lot of things that had been planted inside of me already that had this opportunity of like a concentrated growth period there in a weekend, where it was like there was this seed that was planted, and then there was like all of a sudden all this water and sunlight and like just an opportunity for those things to grow. And what's been happening, I think you guys might remember my little notebook I had. We probably all had a little notebook, but what's been happening is stuff keeps getting filled in there. The stuff keeps coming out of my head and out onto the pages, like, oh yeah, I learned this on that weekend, or I remember this from this weekend, and I want to kind of memorialize it or grow off of it. So yeah, it was just an incredible opportunity to get to do. Like logistically, it was, for me, I think I may have come from the farthest away that anybody did. So I had some flights and some drives. The drive was gorgeous to where we went. We started out somewhere near the tail of the dragon. So the driving up there was awesome. And then we all met together, and it was very quick that everybody was just like, we're friends now. It was super fast. And then we started out the first afternoon, and like everybody said, we saw that rattlesnake right off, which is kind of almost magical. There's like this wild, dangerous thing right there in front of you, and we're kind of existing in the same space, and we're going to let each other do our thing. And there was something, I don't know, just kind of magical about that encounter. And then we learned a bunch of stuff about setting up camp, about, keeping your food away from the bears, about crossing rivers, about making sure you have clean water. We learned all this like practical and tactical skills throughout the next couple of days. And most people have kind of been mentioning like the inner workings of what happened. But that practical stuff was super useful to me too, because I plan on going and doing a bunch of my own trips and teaching other people, hopefully creating an opportunity for that. Let's see. I think one of my favorite times throughout the weekend was when we get around the fire at night after like a long, hard day. And then you get this opportunity to sort of talk to everyone at once. Throughout the day, you're talking to who's ever like in front of you or behind you on the trail, which was awesome. And it was cool that you guys, you leaders, actually sort of purposefully switched places all the time and just drew all of us. There was a bunch of us who would self-identify as introverts, and you kind of drew us out, and it was cool. So when we get around the fire at night, we kind of get some food, and then we talk to each other, and then you always had a lesson prepared for us that was like perfect for the day. And I took some things from those lessons that I've been applying, and it's kind of been incredible. I actually came straight from this course right into a 2-week deployment on my job. And I had to do some things this week that a lot of pilots will get through an entire career and never have to deal with. And one of the tools that I took from you, and I said, I'm going to practice this, was visualization. And I had kind of like Dave was saying earlier, I kind of used this before or heard about it, but basically I took some of these intense experiences that you could possibly face and imagined everything about that, how it would sound, how the other people would react, what would you see, what would you feel, maybe what would you smell, whatever. And I had kind of gone through some of the more intense things that I could possibly deal with, and then I had to deal with one of them, and it went all right. So there were a ton of things that I learned, but I'm not sure what else I can sum up.
Well, that's
perfect. In a coherent way.
No, that's perfect, Kayla. I mean, your summary, to me, it fits the Kayla that I know, because you are a very skills-based, practical person. And so that was one of my missions as an instructor there at the basic course, was to give you guys practical tools, to share practical tools that have worked for me, because there's so much noise out there and there's so many people that teach from a theoretical standpoint. It's like we're not, life is not a theory. We're not dealing with theoretical ways that we can solve our problems. We need practical, applicable tools that we can implement immediately and get the job done. And that visualization is just one of them that's been a powerful tool that I've used throughout my life too. I'm so happy to hear. I'm so happy that you shared that testimony with us, because what that does is it actually increases my own faith in the tool that I already know that works, and it reminds me that I should use it more often. So that's powerful. And then the next thing, Kayla, I got from you is writing this stuff down. When things come to your head, guys, listen to this. When things come to your head, write it down. Make a note. Right? Make the vision clear. Put it on paper. That way, 2 or 3 weeks down the road or 2 or 3 days down the road, it doesn't get cloudy, right? It doesn't get cloudy. You don't have to look back and say, oh, was I really thinking that? How did I actually use that? Write it down and make the vision clear. And that's what you're doing in your own life right now. And that's a powerful thing, Kayla. So thank you so much. We're about to turn it over to my brother, Danny. And then Brendan, we're going to hit you right after Danny. All right, brother? Danny, what's up, my man? Are you still there?
What's going on? Mic check. You got me?
I got you, brother, loud and clear.
Oh, boy. All right. Using one of your skills now, box breathe, and trying not to pass out on us.
Hey, man, this is your show, Danny. You should be totally chill, man. This is your show, man.
I gotcha.
Bust off with it. Crush it, man.
No, first off, I want to say thank you to the instructors, and even more so, I think the team that we had, the people who we didn't know were going to be there, and like the lessons and everything we got to talk through with them, as well as the instructors. But yeah, I mean, we hit the trailhead, or not even the trailhead. I'm getting ahead of myself now, where we just had to pack up our equipment, and the lesson started there. I mean, you noticed really quickly, it seemed, looking back at it now, that I just was overwhelmed, which I get a lot. I get to that point a lot, but you have, like Just was saying, all this stuff that has to be condensed into this bag, and the learning started because I just got analysis paralysis and just stopped. And then you came over and said, hey, listen, man, you got to just break this mission down, put the sleeping bag in, put, all this heavy stuff here, mush in your clothing. You don't need this. You don't need, and as soon as you got to break it down into smaller bite-sized pieces, all of a sudden my bag was packed, and the next 3 days it got easier and easier. Yeah, and then we hit the trailhead. That was awesome. Saw that snake. Craziness. I was never seen one of those in the flesh. Yeah, and then probably one of the highs of the trip was that cold plunge first morning, where we got to camp next to that awesome waterfall, and we all, or most of us, cold plunged at different times. And then, like a lot of people said, piggybacking on everyone else, is just the technical skills that were learned, like the food hangs, the build, as simple as building the fire. I heat my house with wood, but you don't realize, like, when you're out in the wilderness, you got to start with the tiniest of twigs, make your little log cabin, and go from there. And then tying back to all the team members that we had that are almost closer than most family members that I have. They know more about me. And the similarities. I mean, I know you guys had hundreds of applicants, and I don't know if you handpicked based on like common areas you saw in everyone, but it was weird to sit down with Kayla and talk about some things that we both were going through at work, which two different fields, same exact issue and kind of the same sort of way to handle it in the future. So that was nice to talk it over with her. And then all of a sudden we found out we were out there with a pro golfer and Justin, and to see him open up and how his life, he had to get a new mission once that was kind of not taken away, but ended, which I went through in life and still deal with 10 years later. So just it's just so valuable. You can't even put a monetary value on it. I was having those conversations with you guys, and I really do appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate you, brother, and you hit some you hit two really huge points for me right there, man. The one is the breaking tasks down into those small digestible segments, and it's amazing, man, how nature and how the nature of our mission forced us to do that immediately, right off the bat, man. So, well, again, that's a tool that we got to practice like right off the bat. And I mean, I'll never forget coming and kneeling down next to you, man, and just, walking through how to put that pack together. And it took one time. You grasped the skill, And then all of a sudden you became the teacher because you never asked another question about how to pack your bag. It was like from that point forward, dude, when it was ready to rock and roll, Danny was ready. He was standing by, his bag was packed, didn't have any issues. And and the second thing I got from you, Danny, is that power of people, man. It's that, and to let you know, we didn't select you guys based off of trying to find similarities. I knew all you guys were leaders. That was important to me. But other than that, as far as backgrounds, the backgrounds played no, I guess, role in your selection. What's amazing is this world is still chock full of really, really, really good human beings. We just have to be intentional about getting together and doing cool stuff together and learning from one another. Don't let the media convince you that the world is falling apart and that everybody is bad, because I'm here to tell you right now, we just took 8 strangers from around the country that never knew each other, that had never spoken to each other, never seen each other, and we had a life-changing mission. All right? That wasn't for anything that I did. I didn't create that. All that does is tells me that this world is literally still chock full of amazing human beings. That's what it told me. And that's what I got. And thank you for sharing with us, Danny. Super powerful, brother. I love you, man. We're gonna turn it over to my brother Brendan, man. What is up, man?
What is going down, Chad? How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. Happy to see your smiling face, and can't wait to hear what the knowledge that you got to drop on us, man.
Well, it's great to see everyone here. And Chad, congratulations on an amazing race. But that was amazing to watch. Well done.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, how to sum up this weekend? Well, first of all, the team members have done such a phenomenal job already. I'm going to try. You guys saved me a lot of time. Thank you very much. I'm going to keep mine very brief. Say, what a formula for a great weekend. You have 8 strangers, 3 instructors. Within 48 hours, we're family. You have a bunch of practical skills that most of us in this team had never used, never learned, and we learned them instantaneously. And we had no choice because within 24 hours, we had to apply them on our own. So you learn very quickly when you're put in that environment. You had teachers willing to share of their knowledge, understanding, and wisdom freely, openly. And you had 8 people ready to learn together and help one another out. Then you throw in a little physical adversity into that, and that's a great furnace for learning. So from a weekend summary, I couldn't have asked for a better weekend. We had an incredible group of people, but the soft skills, the inspiration, the mindset, the being present, being where your feet are, to use Jesse's words, it was very powerful because there was a lot of time where you had to think on this trip. And for me, one of the biggest takeaways I had 2, the really self-reflecting on the words I am. You get to choose that every second of every day. How are you going to show up? What version of yourself is going to be the best that you bring forward? And then the skill that I learned that weekend, which is really kind of an odd thing to take away from this weekend, was the 15 minutes of quiet in the morning. I have my morning routine. Like most people, it's pretty regimented. I do the things that fill me up and nourish me in the morning, but I never really took 15 minutes just to sit, be still, and be present, and to just take it all in. I'm sitting outside on purpose right now talking to you guys because I've tried to spend as much time outside as I possibly can now. I find that very nourishing for my soul. And so that 15 minutes in the morning, the days since we've left, the days that I did not get the chance to do it, I have noticed a big difference in how I approach the rest of the day. So the power of the I am, this group setting, learning from each, I felt like I had 10 teachers this weekend, the 3 instructors and the 7 other people in the group. So thank you to each and every one of you. I appreciate you and I love you.
Man, I can't top that, Brandon. The power of I am, and then the power of that self-reflection that we did in the morning. That was probably some of the most powerful parts of my day too, brother, was that reflection time that we all took as a team every morning. And I just feel like it just set the stage for every single day that we spent out there in the wilderness together. Brendan, you are so strong out there, man. So strong, dude. From all aspects, body, soul, spirit, physically just hard as stone, brother. I mean, I commend you for the man that you are, and I cannot wait to see where life takes you, man, because you have all the ingredients, brother, and I know that you're going to do amazing stuff. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, Chad. Appreciate you.
All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up real quick with Landon's write-in. Landon was not able to join us tonight, but he sent us an email, and this is what Landon said. The key takeaway to the podcast world is simply this: when you don't know where to go, choose uphill. I know that started off as a joke, but it's so true in life. How much energy do we put into trying to find the easy way on everything? The reality is, things in this life that are worth having don't come easy. And all you guys know Landon, and you know Landon's short and sweet, and I feel like that just fits his personality perfectly. So that was Landon's piece. And Jose, I'll say a word for Jose. He came up with the tagline for the basic course from this point forward. It is a basic course for exceptional people. I think it's Jose that came up with that. I hope it wasn't one of you guys, because I'm giving Jose credit right now. But a basic course for exceptional people, and that's what each and every one of you guys are, is exceptional people. I am thankful from the bottom of my heart to get to share life with you guys. I love you all. We're going to wrap it up there. This is the 3 of 7 podcast. Nuff said.